Ask Iwata was finally translated into English, and we were lucky enough to receive an early copy for review. And you should totally check it out if you haven't already. While it's primarily about Iwata's philosophy and the lessons he learned as Nintendo's president, there are quite a few fun, cute, and informative details scattered about that you probably didn't know. Heck, we didn't! So without further ado, let's check out our 9 fun facts from Ask Iwata. Number 1. It all started with a graphing calculator. Though Iwata might have gotten his hands dirty on plenty of games before being promoted to Nintendo CEO, his first game ever was designed on a device never intended for them, an HP programmable calculator, which he eventually submitted to HP in Japan. Without that calculator and his friend being his first customer, it's possible his entire career could have turned out differently. Number 2. Satoru Kirby? Iwata liked eating candy so much during meetings that he earned the nickname of Kirby, as he would inhale all the sugary sweets he could find that Nintendo staff left nearby. Which is pretty fitting considering that Iwata was once the president of HAL Laboratory, the makers of the Kirby character. Kirby Wata, anyone? I'll show myself out. Number 3. It just clicked one day. Did you know Pokemon Snap wasn't always about Pokemon? It wasn't until the developers of a photography game hit a roadblock that Iwata realized the part that mattered most was what you were taking pictures of. He then suggested to Miyamoto that Pokemon should be the stars, and so Pokemon Snap was born. Phew, could you imagine if it had just been called Snap? Number 4. Smashing success started small. Smash Bros. Ultimate might not be the first game in the series to claim that title, as Iwata jokes that the original Smash Bros. For the Nintendo 64 was actually the ultimate indie title. This is because the entire prototype was just designed by 3 people over the span of several weekends, which is all the free time they had. Iwata handled all the programming, while Sakurai tackled the game design alongside a third person who handled sound. Though speaking of Ultimate, he had never imagined the series could reach such heights, and he was generally opposed to adding more content to a game just for the sake of it, but Smash Bros. Was a rare exception where he felt it was right to cram in as much as possible. Number 5. Saving EarthBound. Iwata might just have saved EarthBound, because after 4 years of development, the game was stuck in developmental hell, or the cave of the past, you might say. But Iwata knew he could help, but he didn't want to step on any toes. So he offered 2 plans of action to get the job done. Either work with what they have and finish it in 2 years, or reboot the game from scratch, throwing away much of what they had, but be done in half a year. Thankfully, they chose the half-a-year option, and Iwata came back a month later with a revised version of the game, and a new scrolling map feature, and energized the team enough to finally finish the game within a year. Number 6. Take a break. Speaking of EarthBound, do you remember how Nessa's dad would occasionally call to check in and suggest that you take a break if you played EarthBound for too long? Well, Iwata says this helped inspire the Wii's unique ability to record how long you spend playing each game. Though interestingly, that isn't quite how it started. Originally, the plan was to have the Wii turn off automatically once a preset amount of time had passed, as set by parents. But after heated debates and technical issues, such as how to save an in-progress game before shutting down, the play history feature was the end result. That certainly beats an automatic game over, doesn't it, kids? Number 7. A challenge. Speaking of the Wii, during its development, Iwata issued a mandate to the team that the system should be no thicker than a stack of 3 DVD cases, before he even knew it was possible. Although he knew it would be difficult, he pretended it wouldn't be a challenge when presenting it to the team, going off his "we'll work it out" philosophy. And hey, they did work it out, so Iwata was right. Number 8. Miyamoto's #1 fan. Iwata is a Miyamoto fanboy, or in his words, Miyamoto's #1 follower. He would often try to figure out the secret to Miyamoto's success, which led to the realization that Miyamoto would kidnap, borrow, Nintendo employees constantly to playtest his games for feedback. Iwata even remembered quotes that Miyamoto himself had forgot, such as, "A good idea is something that solves multiple problems in a flash." The two constantly wound up going out to lunch once a week for 20 years, always splitting the bill. Number 9. It was a metaphor. The Nintendo DS might have started off as a joke, sort of, because former President Yamauchi recommended to Iwata that they make a game console with 2 screens. But Iwata understood this to be more of a metaphor, meaning to think outside the box and come up with something new. But, after bouncing ideas off Miyamoto for a while, They made it literal by realizing a two-screen setup would work perfectly with one being a touchscreen, and thus the Nintendo DS was born. And that's it for our top 9 interesting facts about Iwata's amazing legacy and what he contributed in the Ask Iwata book. If you liked this, we'd recommend checking out the full Ask Iwata book yourself, and our review of it, which you can find on the right or in our description below. Do you have a favorite Iwata moment like Directs? Let us know in the comments, and stay tuned to GameXplain for more on Nintendo and other things gaming too.